Hello everybody, how are you? Good morning, well nearly lunchtime. Give us a wave if you can hear us. There we go, good to see you, thank you so much. Got a really interesting workshop for you. You've got a new card that I've not done before, so I'm quite excited about it. Well, I have done it because I've practiced it, of course. But got something, and it's all components that we already know, but we're just bringing it together in a different way. And before we get started, I just thought I'd just go back and look at a couple of the designs that we had when we first did this collection, Maple Way, because it just gives us a chance to just refresh ourselves as some of the look and feel that we've got. So I'm just going to take a little look at this card first of all. And this one is almost part of the, oops, lost you. Andrew, put some money in the meter. Right, so this card, I wanted to just talk about this because this shape is one that we're going to be working from, well, something similar. So we've got this piece of acetate and it's been made into a stepper card. So the first fold with this, so if I open this up, the first fold that I've got here is a third of the length of the cardstock, and the second one is a third. So those two go down, and then that first third gets folded in half again to make that. So if I just show you that again, so you've got a third to there, a third from there to there into that crease, and a third there. And this edge comes down to the first third, and then that first third gets folded in half like that. So that gives you that dimension. If I just show you it from the side, but you can see how it's a really full card with lots of elements inside it. So quite an interesting design. Why is this the wrong collection? Oh, what have I done with my demo then? Andrew's telling me I've just got this wrong. What's this one? No, it's not. Where's my other one? No. Yes, it is this one. Oh, you're making it hard, Andrew. He's just confusing everybody. So this one, he's right, there are no robins in this collection, but the whole object of showing you this was that all of this foliage that you've got here is actually working with any of the other designs that you've got in your collection. Okay, so, oh, phew, blinking heck. Talk about making me stressed. Whew. Right, now I'm going to show you this one. So this one is using the lantern that we've got there. You guys all got that was Maple Way, didn't you? Oh dear. Right, so what I've got now is I've used again, we've got the leaves, we've got those little seed heads, we've got the honesty, which I love, the raven, and then this. Now, this has actually been put together by cutting into the lantern and putting acetate behind it. So we've got that acetate that's making it much more dimensional. Now these cards are quite dark, so they're very much, I think this is man's cards. They could be, I think this one could almost be a condolence card. So, you know, lighting the way to the future and all of that kind of thing. Then we come on to some where we're using a combination of everything. So we've got all of the leaves here. We've got Boo, and we've got the lights. And the lights, just if I just turn those off, really do make the difference. And one of the other things is this piece of acetate. Well, you can print it on your printer so that you get a coloured sheet of acetate, or you can use your alcohol pens to get some texture and colour in it too. But that just brings it to light, particularly where you've got little bits that are shining through the leaves. So when you are doing this, make sure that you're leaving gaps because they're the bits where you get the little twinkly elements through. Okay, right, let's get started with what we're going to do because I've got 2 projects I want to do in the time that I've got. So the first one takes a piece of A4 card and we're cutting ourselves a square, and that square is 15 centimetres. So it's a 15 centimetre square with a very small border and a mat on top. The next thing that you do is you're going to need a piece of construction acetate, which I've cut in half. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off the edge of this acetate a very small piece. So about probably half a centimetre. So that's all I've taken off the edge of there. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to fold this in half. So when you fold it in half, use your fingers to get that butted up, to get it properly in half, and then start to crease it and get something like a scoring tool so that you can break that and make that a really firm fold. And it's so firm that this acetate will stay together. Now I'm now going to open it up and I'm going to go back with my tool and I'm going to fold it the other way. So I've made that fold in at the top much more, it's more bendable, pliable. And the reason being is this is going to be going inside this card. And that's the reason that I took just that tiny bit off the bottom so that it actually is inside the card itself. So that's the first part of it. The next thing, we're going to cut this piece in half. But I'm only going to come to about, 1.5 inches from the bottom. So let me show you how I would do that. I put it into my guillotine. It is double. Now, your guillotines are quite robust when it comes to this, and you can get a good cut. What you may need to do is to go back in with your scissors, and if I open it up, I push one piece to the back and one piece to the front so that my scissors will go in there and I can just cut down on that side. And then I turn it over and I push that bit to the back and that bit to the front, and I can cut down on there. And I'm just going to check that they're both level, which they are. So there's the cut, and we're ready to do the next part of it. The next part is we're going to take our scoring tool or something that you can use to score with, and you're just going to score along the bottom of that edge. So you can see I've got that score line in. I'm going to turn it over and repeat that. Now, use your ruler if you feel you want to use your ruler. It's entirely up to you. This panel is going to push down to there, and that one is going to push down to there. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to be scoring along that edge and turn it over and scoring along. And then this one folds back, that one folds in, and that one folds back. So what we've done is we've created our stepper. Okay, so we've got all of that created. This is going to go inside our card like this, but actually I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to use the white there to give us some extra dimension. So you can see how that's going to sit inside your card, and when the card opens up like this, it will open up with your stepper inside. So we've got a few things that we need to consider. The first part of it is we need to make sure, let me move that out the way now because you can see the acetate. The first part of it is making sure that everything that we're doing is we can see easily. So I've also got a couple of other things to think about. Do I want it to come and open sideways? So let's take a look at it. If it were to open sideways, that's an option for us. And it would still close to go through the post. Or do I want it to be tent-fold opening like that? For this particular project, I'm going to do it opening sideways, but you can do it either way. And what I've done is I've made this white square is very slightly wider at the top and the bottom. And I know that I need to position this panel so that it's level at the edge there and it's even at the top and the bottom in terms of how far over it comes. And then once you've got it positioned, pull the piece of acetate down so that it is level with that bottom edge. And what should happen is it will be level with the top of the white. So just so that you can see, if I were to go in the middle, I've got a little tiny bit at either end. Each of those little bits is the equivalent of half of this panel, but I'm going to come down so that it's level with that top edge there. So when it opens, it's all standing firmly. So we're going to assemble this as part of the project. So the first part that we do, we're going to use red liner tape, and I'm going to go across the top here, and I'm just going to snip that through there. I'll just take that little bit out, and I'm going to go along the bottom there, getting that nice and neat, or as neat as I can. Okay, so I'm just going to take these pieces away, and I'm just going to line that up to the top. Remember, I've got to go level with this white edge, and that's going to go there, and this should, and if you get your tape so that it goes just on that black border there, it's easy for us to cover it over. So I'm just going to put that up there. I'm now going to let you see how that will stand up. Okay, so let's just show you. There we go. Okay, right, so the next part of this that I want to do is I'm going to start to build the design that I've got here. And I'm also going to show you, I'll do that on the next one actually. So first of all, I've got Boo. Now look at how much space I've got. I've got the full width of this card to be able to play with. So I've got Boo. I've got lots of autumnal leaves because these are just so useful to have. So I've got lots of them. Some of them I've already put some glaze on. So I've used my glaze to get a little bit of a nice finish on it. And we've got some new cardstock coming in for you. And it's called Laser Look. So, you know, when we use our laser printers and we get that lovely sheen on things, we found a piece of card or a card supplier that can actually provide us with product that means that you can get the same look. So from an inkjet printer, so I'm super excited about that. I believe it'll be here next week. So that's one good thing. We've got a massive container of product coming tomorrow, so I'm a little bit excited about it. So these are the Honesty that have been printed onto vellum and just cut, and just die cut. These two have actually had some glaze put on top of them. Then I've got loads of these leaves, and I've got to just say to Angie, a massive thank you for cutting me so many leaves out, because I said to her, can you cut me tons and tons of them? And she did. So here we go. So there they all are. Okay, right. So I've got 2 boos here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make him so he is decoupage. So I'm going to go into his ear and take out that ear. I'm going to go into this ear and take out that ear. And I'm going to go into the pips at the back, and just by following those pips and snipping them like I'm doing here, I'm absolutely sure, get that piece of red liner tape out of the way, I'm absolutely sure that I am getting the piece that I need to be able to get this dimensional. And if I just take that piece out, you can see there he is, and there's his little nose to go on back on here. So to make him dimensional, I've got my glue gel, and I'm just going to pop some of this, oops, down the middle like that. So we'll get him so that that's raised. That's going to work perfectly. But before I actually stick that on properly, I'm just going to go in and I'll use, I think, a glue tip applicator to make sure this goes well. And I'm going to take off that bit of glue there. Oops. And it's going to go on his nose. Now, the reason that I've put this on first is because it's easier than me trying to navigate the glue through that hole. And I found when I was doing the finished samples for these projects that by doing that, I just got a better effect. So I'm just going to go a little bit higher with it. So let's go in, but I've already got the glue held down to the card, so it's making it easier for me to do. There we go. And we'll take his little nose and pop that on top. Just tuck it in there. So I've just angled it slightly to get a bit of extra dimension. Got a little bit of shape to him there, so super happy with that. That can go to the side and just be waiting for a few minutes. So how are we going to decorate this? Well, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take some red liner tape and I'm going to put that across the full length that I've got there. I'm then going to take this one and put it across the full length there. And I'm just going to tuck that in. I'm going to take some tape and I'm going to put it down this piece here. So there. Interesting the way that this works, isn't it? I'm going to be putting a piece across the bottom here, just there, and a piece underneath here. About there should be right. Hopefully I've got all these in the right places. So that one is my first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Okay, so you can see where they are. Right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one off at the back. So let's do this one first. And I'm going to start by putting my coloured and glazed Honesty just there. Okay, the next one, just making sure that that's going over all the elements. Okay, then the next one is going to go here. It's going to go across there, like that. And my third one, which isn't glazed, is coming over here. Okay, so it really shows up on the black. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to use some of these little leaves. And where I can, I'm going to lift up the little beads of honesty. So that's one I can lift there. And I'm putting this against that acetate so that I know that when I'm touching it, it doesn't feel sticky. I'm just coming into this one, and this is going to get a piece that's going to go up here. So you can see how it's starting to come together. So I need to take that off, and that one. I'm just checking if I've got any pieces that are sticky. There's a tiny little bit there, but it is very, very small. And this one needs to come over enough so that it doesn't interfere with this crease. So it's there. Let me now just check if there's any of these that I could be lifting forward. There's one there, so let me just pull that forward and get that. Where's it going to go? There, behind that little leaf. And if there's any more here, I think they are stuck down. Okay, so that's that piece. So now if I check that, there's nothing sticky behind there. I've got another one of these panels that I'm going to just snip into, and I'm going to snip into there. And this one is going to lend itself to go into here. And so I need to snip between those two leaves so that it can go behind this step that I've got and in front of it. So behind like that and in front of like that. So I'm just going to angle this one so that it's there. Then I've got this little piece, which I'm just going to shape and make sure that's covering that little piece of glue that I had. So you're starting to see the story come together. Then we've got these leaves that we need, and we need to get rid of this tape. So we're going to start to lay these leaves down. So thinking about which way they're going to go, making sure that I'm not coming too far off this edge, because remember, I've got that edge that I'm working to. And I'm just going to come into this part and snip a couple of little pieces so that I can have them layered. And let's find a couple more of those leaves. Layer that one. You can see, again, I can have another one of those little bits of leaf, but this time I need to make sure it's at a different angle. So I think what I'll do is I'll just pop that one that way as if it's falling. And I've got another little leaf that's going to go there. But this one will need that end taken off, because otherwise it will stick. So let's pop that down and have a look at how that's looking. So I've got my detail and my design. I'm just going to go back to Boo a minute and see how he's going to look, so that you can see him amongst all the trees and see how we're getting all that dimension that we've got. I've still got some glue showing here, but that's fine because I've got these leaves to go as if they're tumbling, and I've got them falling as they come down here. So you can see them all tumbling and falling, which is fab. I've got another piece of the this foliage, which I want to be able to bring across here, but it's more about these leaves. So let's decide how much of this we're going to need. And I think what we'll be doing is cutting into this a little bit more. I'm just going to take those two out. Pop that there. Pop that one there. And one more, which will get one with lots of depth to it, about there. That needs taking off. So you can see I've kept that crease completely clear, but you can see how the story is building. If I just bring this up, and I'm just going to get Andrew to get a shot for you so you can see that all coming together. Now, this isn't sitting down as far as we'd want it, because we need to do some scoring on these score lines. So I'm going to do that now. That's what's holding it up and away. So I'm going to, it's not going to go down completely flat because we don't want it to, but I should have scored this beforehand. So please score yours before, because otherwise once you've got all your leaves and stuff on it, it is harder. And I just didn't score it quite hard enough. So just having to make those little lines a bit tighter. There, I'm just going to go underneath and get this one once more. Just there, let's see how that is. Now, it should make a difference. Yeah, that's loads better. So you can see now much, much better when it's open. So I'm just going to get you to get a shot of that so you can see how that's all coming together. And then look at what happens when that closes. Really just, and it pops, doesn't it? It's just, there we go, there. And then I'm going to let go of this. We're going to be doing a wrap around. I'm just going to let it go and look at how that stands out. Looks quite impressive. So we're then going to come here. Now, I've got a few choices of things that I can do. So I'm liking the idea of Boo going in here amongst those leaves. And I put tape along the bottom, so I've got room to be able to tuck him in and see how he looks. And I like where he is there. I've got my little scarecrows that I could be doing things with. So I could be putting one over here if I wanted to. I could have another one just here telling the story. I've got my my little scarecrows, which you could be using some of those, but I like that one where it is here, and she's flat. So I'm going to put her on flat. So that's some more red liner tape. And just, I was doing this and thinking, why do we always do the steppers on the outside? Why don't we start looking at what we could do on the inside using the acetate and getting this dimension? And you can immediately see it works so well. And because of the weight of all the elements that we've got, by doing it like this, we're making it really sturdy. And by gluing everything along the bottom, you'll see it's really neat inside. So I'm going to put my little scarecrow there. So the story really is coming across the design. And you'll notice I didn't glaze these. These leaves are glazed. I probably could have done with those not being. And then we've got this. So it's all sort of matte. And then this part of the story is where it all comes to life. I've got some of my seed heads, which I haven't used yet. Really feel that they should probably have a home. And I think they look quite good just there. So again, I am going to just use this liner tape. You could use your wet glue if you wanted to, but this is just a tiny little bit there, a little bit on here, and at home put just a little tiny bit more on. So those are going to be like that, perfect to go. And I need to bring them, I've got to decide where they're going to go here, how I'm going to ground them. I think I'm going to take them to the bottom of the black because it feels more grounded, making sure that it doesn't come over the edge on this side. So I've got that flat to the story. So that's all working really nicely. Let's have a look and see what else we need. I think we could finish off the bottom here with this leaf. I think that just would make it all join. And you see how it looks like we've got a continuous line of leaves. In fact, when you open it up, we haven't at all. That's the illusion that you're getting from that stepper. So that's quite a clever result that we've got there. So I'm just going to lift this out. And let's put that bit of tape. One thing that the liner tape is really good for is letting you see where the glue is going. You can really see that down. Just checking if I've got any areas that are still a bit sticky. If you have, you've got a couple of things you can do. I get just a tiny bit of talcum powder on my fingers and I touch it in so it takes away the stick. Or you can use an anti-static bag. That's the other thing that works really well. I'm going to go into these seed heads, and I've just got 2 small seed heads. These are going to get trimmed quite closely to the stem, and I need 2 of them. So I'm going to get that one and this one. And again, this one needs trimming. So we'll take that one there. So it's about a centimetre in length. And then I'm just going to tuck that right behind there, that one. And this one should go a bit lower there. Actually not quite low enough. So let's take a bit more off that seed head. Let's see if we can, oh yeah, let's do that. Pop that into the flower there. So we've got that all coming together really nicely. Okay, so Boo needs to be glued in place. Just make sure his nose is drying nicely. And we'll pop that on here. So anybody's got any questions, please put them in the chat. I'll be doing my best to answer them as I go along. Let's just pop you right under there, like that. And I'm just going to push that glue from behind, that liner tape, make sure that's all being caught. Now, let's have a little look. Yep, really liking the way that's coming together. Need to do one more thing for Boo. And we need to go into these little pumpkin baskets that we got. Now, he found these little rusty baskets ferreting around in the shed when he was looking for something to eat. And that's where he found this old painting basket and ended up literally wearing it, as you can see. And that then will just slide underneath there. So he's got his little basket now. Just carrying that. Looks like it's in his mouth. And I think we're probably happy with that inside. So I'm just going to share this with you. I'm just going to turn it and let you see how that's looking. Okay. Now we're going to put this to one side and we're going to work around on the wrap that we need. So I'm working with the black cardstock that we sell here at Highlight Crafts. And this card, I just can't manage without this stuff now. I love it. I use it for everything. I use it for my painting. I use it for my card making. I use it for card blanks. I literally use it for everything. What I was doing just then, because I felt the card might have moved, I'm just checking that it is level all the way round. Now, the problem that I've got is that this piece, because it's only the length of an A4, if I take my card and I wrap this around here, the best it's going to do is just touch it. So I need 2 lengths this size. So I put my card back in and I just get my card to the edge of where the cut is. And I've got 2 pieces that are identical. Okay. The next thing that I need is a strip, and I want it to be quite robust. So it's there. And I need another one of those because we're going to use it to cover up some workings. So I've got 2 strips, and let me give you some measurements. This one is 5 centimetres. And then this one is 2.5. So I've got 2 at 5 by the length of the A4 and 2 at 2.5. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just fold this and just score that edge. And I've folded it back 7 centimetres. So that's the first fold. Then I'm going to take my card and I'm just going to close this round like that. And I'm just going to mark where that score line's going to be. So I've got it just there. And I'm just going to score against that mark like that. So it'll come to there. So that is going to be the back of the card. This is the back of the card. So if I take the card and I sit that inside there, you can see it's going to fit perfectly. What we're then going to do is we are just going to use this, because I need half a centimetre there, and score. And the same on this one. So I'm not changing the back measurement. What I'm doing is I'm just giving you a little half centimetre score there. So we're making it into sort of a little box at the end, as you can see, and a half centimetre score on this side. So we've created that little box. Now you can see I've got no chance of that actually closing up now. So that's, we need to bear that in mind. This one, I'm going to put just a little bit of a shape on it, just to make it a little bit more interesting. So there we go. So I've just literally just made myself a little tab there. And so the way that this is going to work, we're going to take our card and we're going to place this in here. This will close down. That little score there is going to go behind one of these tabs, which you can see if I just lift that up, you can see it. In fact, let me put that there so you can see what it's going to look like. And then this piece and the rest of the front of the card is going to get decorated. To make it all really neat, you can cut this, and I could cut it the width of the front, which is to there. So I'm just going to cut that, and I'll just score this one. Just see where that line is. Where are you? There. So just there. And just see, Andrew, sorry, I'm not ignoring you. I just couldn't hear you. I just need to reach a bit of foam. It'll take me a second, everybody. Ooh, so just been asked about a boo die to cover their own images of friends. What a great idea. It needs to be a bit bigger, wouldn't it? So, and put an opening in it. I think that's a fab idea. We should definitely explore that for you. Right, so this one, well, right, before I do anything, we need a little bit. So this piece is the width of the front, just slightly less, and we're going to put it onto foam and raise it up. So I need a little bit of tape just there, because before I stick the foam on, I need this little piece of acetate to go there, okay? So that's pingy. Then this will go over the front like that, and that will go over the front like that. Right, now I'm going to decorate this ready to go onto the front of my card. Okay, so it's going to go on here. And then this panel is going to go over the front there, and the tab will tuck underneath, okay? So let's start decorating this first. So we've got loads of stuff to decorate it with. First thing I need to do is get myself some tape. So I'm going to put quite a reasonable length just there, and a little bit in the middle, like that, and a little bit more just at the bottom there. So I've got all that in place. Okay, then I'm going to need a small part. No, I'm not going to need that. Ignore me. I've got that wrong. I don't need that there yet. Right, so I've got loads of fab stuff. I've got my crow. Ooh, I love him. He's going to go on the front. So we've got him. I've got my foliage. And I've got all the other little elements to tuck in. So we'll get all of this. I'm going to take some of my foliage and I'm just going to pop that there. Okay, got you on that bit. I'm going to take another piece. This time it's going to go a bit higher and it's going to go there. Remember that you're going to see all of this. I've got my honesty is there and here. Let's take that up a little bit. Just there, those two pieces. I've got some more leaves, which get some more of these out, and my seed heads. So a set of seed heads. Let's see where they're going to go. Just move those so I can get a better picture. Thinking that's a bit too crowded. Maybe pop them there. So let's go with that piece. Oops. And we can go with this piece, just here. And we can go with that piece. So you see how we're starting to build a little mini composition. I can put a little bit of leaf there. Then of acetate is going to fold down here like that. And my crow is going to go on there. So you can see how I've pre-planned where each of the elements are going. So that's enough for the crow itself. So he's going to go on this part. So let's pop him, and he should look like he's sitting on those, standing on those leaves, which he just about does. Make him so we get a bit more depth to him. There he is. I need to make him a bit more decoupaged. So I'm going to take a piece of my foam, my crow himself. I'm going to take his back paw away. That's all I'm going to remove. And this is going to go here. And we'll just pop him like that. Make sure his feet and his beak are lined up because they're the bits that really give you away. Sometimes I do put just some wet glue on there to hold him, but that's him sort of quite nicely set. I could put another little one up here if I wanted to, but I quite like it the way it is actually. Now I need to get some dimension to this project. So we've got another leaf here, and I'm going to put some silicone on and get some dimension there. I've got a couple more. Now I cut some of these out earlier, so I should be able to use some of the ones that I cut away. That one would work. So we'll take that one. I'm just going to get rid of that little landlocked piece that was there. Open up that bit for the leaf and shape this round. I think that could look good. So pop that on and we'll get this one decoupage. This is the kind of card that, I mean, this is just a just because kind of card. Look at that. I mean, that's just fab. But we've left this side so it's nice and clean. Right, inside here, I'm going to put my tape. So red liner from there to there. Make sure you're clear of these edges because those bits need to be completely clear. From there to there. And we are getting so close to being able to announce more detail of our training academy, which is opening next year. And I'm really hoping that some of you guys will be in a position to be able to come and join us because we're going to be able to do some face-to-face classes, which are just going to be the best possible fun. Right, so what I'm doing now, everybody, is just I'm lining this up with with that straight line, and then I'm lining this up with another straight line to make sure that this wraps around in the right place and it's all straight and level, which is this piece is going to go across the front of the card like that. Just making sure, oh, I didn't check that. Good point here. Just need to check that it's not going off the top of the card, which it is. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take that piece off and I'm going to move it down slightly. So I'm going to shorten the stem, and it means I'm going to have to re-stick this piece, but that's fine. So just get a little bit of tape, pop that to the right-hand side, just slightly to the right-hand side of it, so that can go there. This one can come off because we don't need it. And I think I'm going to have to take that leaf off. So let's just have a look and see how that goes now. I'm still very slightly over on this side. Okay, so let's look at how snip there. And I'm going to snip. I'm going to have to come into this bit. I'm going to have to take out that whole stem there. Let's take that and see whether that will do it. I think if I just tuck this in, let's go a bit lower. Go a little bit lower. I can make that work. There we go. Right. Okay, so I've got this on foam now, so I can just lift this piece up. So I'm going to turn it over. I've got a piece of loose paper there. Right, so I'm turning it over. I've already got my tape on, which we did earlier. But before I stick that down, I've got to do this bit. And this needs some tape here. And you've got to do these two things in conjunction with each other. It's one of those things that you don't want to do it and then realise that you've missed a bit and you should have stuck it all together in one go. So there and there. And then I just need to fold that little bit over there, that little bit over there. I'm just going to fold it back like that and back like that. And this piece needs to be good to go. So that is going to slide just there. So you need to make sure that everything's all in the right place. So it's not glued at all, but I'm just checking all my lining up. Then this panel goes level with the design that we did at the side. So we made that little bit stand out, didn't we? And then we're just going to bring this and level that up and put that down flat. And then this tab is going to go underneath there, like that. So there's our little card with the tabs, with our little raven, so he's moving. That's all held down in place. Everything's inside. You open up the little tab that you've got. Inside, you've got your design, and you display your card with the front like that and the inside like that. And there we have it. From start to finish, our little inside aperture with that stepper, sorry, I beg your pardon. So our little inside stepper. But I just thought it would be a nice bit of fun to be able to play with this shape. I'm just making sure that's not going to bow. Play with the shape of the stepper and to give ourselves that effect that we've got just here. And you can see that. And then by doing the wrap that comes around, that this then tucks underneath those elements and the leaves, you can see that it all just holds its shape. And in fact, you can, because we put those little side panels on, it will display and stand up just like that. But I think the fun bit is when we open it up and you see what's inside. So I wanted to show you a different card shape. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing it like this. I'm just going to share with you a couple more ideas. We've got a code for you, and we put it into the chat. It's MW10. So that means M for Maple Way, and you can, well, you know, the maple bit, and you can use that to get 10% off our highlight crafts until Sunday, the 23rd of October. So at 11:59. Right, I'm just going to share a couple more ideas for you. This one, got a few more little things, got some cute little pumpkin faces there that have been drawn on with our pens. This one, this is a lovely one because we've got a lot of detail there. And this is where those outline dies really come into their own, because without that, the little cat would truly be lost in that very, very busy design. But it looks great with the way it is. This is another one, really super, super easy to do. Just bringing the acetate and that composition together. This would make a good stepper inside that card. Don't forget doing things like this, where you've got the wreath that I think just brings the story together. And I've got one more that I want to show you. And this is a little bit controversial, but I think it's quite interesting because it almost looks like, you know, one of those magical, mystical TV programs, like the Doctor Who thing when they're going into the TARDIS and all those little bats are flying out. That's quite clever. But the thing I really wanted to share was this. There's Boo, and there's his mate peeking out from behind. Just isn't that little bit of this really super clever? So a huge thank you to the design team, to Steve and Louise and to Kath, and to everybody who's been watching. We're going to be in Peterborough this weekend. So that's Friday, Saturday. If anybody's coming, please come and say hello to us. And also, I'm going to tell you a secret, but don't share yet. We've got a 2 Red Robin advent calendar. Now, do you want to see it? Don't tell anyone. There you go. You've just seen it. Right. It doesn't launch officially until Monday. But if anybody emails Sean, so Sean, he's going to kill me for this. I'll tell you what, email Christine, not Sean. Oh, she's not in. Email Sean if anybody wants one before we let them go out there, because we've only got a limited number of them. I don't think we've got enough. I am going to take some to Peterborough, and Diane's on holiday and it's her project, but she's not back till Monday. So, you know, while the cat's away and all that. So anyway, thank you for watching. I'm going to be back at, is it 3 o'clock, Andrew? I think it's 3. I think it's 3, and I've got another project for you. It's just an open Facebook Live, but I hope you'll join me because it's quite a little super sweet thing that we've put together, and it's something new too. So I think it's 3 till 4. So in the meantime, have a lovely day, everybody. Thank you so much for your company. It's always appreciated. Don't forget your code MW10. And I'll see you all soon. Take care. Just be kind to everybody. Be kind to each other. Bye-bye.